Everybody, Meathead. I'd just like to say one thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my last ribs and beans video was not very good. My apologies that YouTube did not download it correctly. The editing and the audio was not up to par. It was not on our side, it was on YouTube's side. So to make up for it, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do some pork spare ribs, I'm gonna do some smoked baked beans. Stay tuned. Let's go do it. All right, buddy, let's begin. I already got done washing off the ribs. I don't need to show you me rinsing off ribs. If you need to know how to rinse off your meat, I'm sure there's another YouTube video on doing that. I don't need to show you how to rinse off meat. So let's pat it dry. And now we're going to take the membrane off on the side here. Spoon upside down. Get underneath this membrane. I love that sound. That's a beautiful sound. Take a paper towel. Get it underneath there. Gonna pull that all off. You want that so the rub and stuff gets up underneath there real good. There's also another little membrane here that you might want to also pull off as well. I'm actually going to cut this off. I can actually keep this separate. So let me get my knife. Not a whole lot of trimming that you need to do here. But this piece right here, I'm going to trim off. I'll probably cook it separate. You can even use that to go into beans or ribs. I mean beans and other stuff like that. And I'll take that little membrane off later on. You can do this kind of same thing, you know, with a knife. Get underneath there and just take that membrane off. I might sit there that all day and do it. Like that. Alright, and then I got another pair of ribs. I got another slab of ribs right there to do the same thing too, but I'm just going to show you on one. We're going to come over here. Olive oil. On the outside, you can do mustard, you can do honey mustard. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. Some people will actually cut all this off and throw it away. That's a beautiful piece of meat you can do a lot of stuff with. In fact, I want to show you something that you can do with it later on. Put it in the pan. Olive oil. Now it's time for the rub. I'm using the rub I normally use for my simple rubs video. It's basically it's like pepper and salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and celery seed. Okay, so that's we're just going to do like that. I'm going to pat it in a little bit, and that's it for that slab of ribs. I'm going to do the same exact thing to the other slab of ribs, but you don't need to see that. Just need to show you on one. We'll be right back. One thing I forgot to show you guys is a little trick you might want to do. This is for later on after the cook. Right where the ribs end, what I do is I cut a fine little line going right along where the bone line ends. Okay, it's going to be important for later on down the cook. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the next day. My cameraman's actually in school, so I'm going to try to swing this myself. It's going to be pretty interesting. But this is what we got. I just took the ribs out of the fridge after being covered up all night. And I'm going to let these sit here for a little bit. I got the coals going out right now. Get nice and hot. Then after I get those on, we're going to start in on the beans here. Hey everybody. All right. We're outside. Just got the smoker heated up. I'm going to get these on. I'm going the rib side down right now because you want all that heat coming up, hitting the bones of it. All right, those little strips I cut off, put those over here. So it's nice and cool. Cook those a little bit slower. Now I'm going to go inside and do the beans. It's going to be fun. It's going to be delicious. So let's get inside. All right, buddy, welcome back. We are inside, fixing to do the beans. You don't need any kind of special beans. You need to get the cheapest beans that you can find. We're gonna be doing everything today in the Dutch oven. I love this thing. Take the cheapest beans that you can find if you want to, or your favorite. But just get like the original kind. It's 2 cans. We're gonna do probably do like a teaspoon of dry mustard. See, it's about half a cup right there. Half a cup of brown sugar. Then we're gonna do half a cup of maple syrup. Do maple syrup. Don't do corn syrup or anything else like that. Now we're gonna do a medium onion. We're cooking barbecue. Doesn't have to be all cute. All right. Now this is pretty important. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna stir this all in. Get well stirred in. And now as a topper for today, you can use bacon. You can use leftover brisket like I did on my last cook. The one that got the rib video that got messed up. I actually used brisket in that one. Today we're going to use pulled pork. I saved some of this. Now we're just going to take some, just layer it atop. So now as this cooks down, the juices are going to come out and they're going to go into the beans as well. And it's going to smoke the brisket. Then after a couple hours, we're going to take it and we're just going to mix it all in. That is a beautiful thing right there. Right there, just like that. Oh, hold on, there we go. This camera thing is kind of new to me. So there we go. All right, I'm gonna go outside and put this on the smoker. Hey everybody, just want to do one quick thing. You're gonna be using some salted butter. So get yourself out some 2 sticks of, well actually it's 1 stick per rib. Cut it up into 4s. And do nothing further for about 4 more hours. You're gonna put this in the freezer and get it nice and cold. Okay, I forgot to say that. Oh, it's gorgeous. Look at that. That is a wonderful and beautiful thing. All right, now it's all stirred in. We're just going to keep it there for the remainder of the cook. We're going to go with the I call it the 4-2-1 method for pork spare ribs. A lot of people go with the 3-2-1 method. I'm not like everybody else. I like to do things a little bit different. So I'm going to go with smoking them for 4 hours. I'm going to go with wrapping them for 2 hours with some apple juice and some other mystery stuff that you're going to fix and see here in a little bit. And then the last hour is probably the most important thing. Let it rest after you pour the juices out. That's probably the most important thing, is let it rest. Let it rest for a whole hour, at least an hour. Okay? We'll be back. Everybody, back inside, I just took those 2 pieces of rib that I cut off the ribs earlier in the video. So, but they're done right now. I just had a piece. And not only is it good for just a snack, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these up into chunks. I'm gonna add that into the beans as well, because they're nice and smoky and it's beautiful. It's gonna add a nice little enhancement along with that pulled pork to it. So I just wanted to let you know that's what I did with those 2 strips of meat. All right, I don't let anything go to waste. We are now gonna go rib side up. That frozen butter I told you about. Gonna wrap the frozen butter. One on the bottom. Another one underneath. Okay, then we're gonna put the other one on top. Right here. Now we're gonna follow that up with some light brown sugar. There we go. Put some on the bottom there. Follow that with a little bit of honey. Some on the bottom there. I think it's at the bottom. There we go. And just like we did with the pulled pork, this is going to slowly melt the frozen butter. We're going to double wrap that. They're pretty thick. Alright, buddy, just took the ribs off the smoker. They are done. 4-2-1. Smoke for 4 hours. 2 hours, wrap them up, and then now for another hour, we're going to let them rest. But look at how the beans turned out. You want your beans to be almost a meal in itself. All the big chunks of meat in there with the beans and the sweetness. This is going to be phenomenal. So you got your vegetables and you also have your meat all together in one thing. You can actually have a meal just of that alone. God, so good. Anyhow, we'll be back whenever and to cut into these things here in another hour. All right, we'll be back. The ribs are done, of course, and they've been sitting for about an hour now, and they are still piping hot. So we're going to go with this one first. This is going to be extremely hot still. I'll save all this juice too. That juice will make a good, really nice brine. Now, the reason I had to cut the line right here is to separate the ribs from this part right here. Because what you can do with this part is separate all this into pulled pork. You can actually just pull this all apart. See, like that? It flakes all apart, just like that. And you can actually get two pieces, two different kinds of meat with the same thing. You get ribs and pulled pork off the same slab of ribs. Not a lot of people do that. Meathead does. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Gorgeous smoke ring. It's a deep smoke ring. This thing is just absolutely beautiful. Even though it's been sitting for an hour, it's still piping hot. So, try this out. And we're going to end it right there. So you kind of see what I'm doing here. We got pulled pork and ribs off one slab of ribs. I haven't seen anybody do that yet. There might be somebody out there that's actually showed people how to do that. But that's what I do. Anyhow, like and subscribe, please. And until next time, see ya.